the last couple of seasons. Won a national championship as the starting goalie, but Starr injured at the beginning of the season. Brody Wilson has stepped in and has not given that up. Starr is healthy and ready to go if needed, but at the moment, for Andy Shea, it's Brody Wilson in goal for Yale. On the UMass side of things, a freshman. It's Matt Note getting his fifth start of the season. He's the first true freshman to start as the season opening goalie for UMass since Doc Schneider back in 2006. Of course, Schneider, one of the greats at UMass, now an assistant coach for the Minutemen. At the faceoff X, TD Erlin, as we mentioned, in the open for Yale, going up against another freshman in Zach Hockman.
Great 50-50 battle right away. You can tell Hockman gets to his feet to try to stop TD from popping it out clean. Great battle, but you're going to make TD have to earn this all day long.
Erlin wins the faceoff, going right through, takes a hit. The backup here for Yale to keep possession to open things up on offense.
Now you're UMass, you're saying, okay, we're going to be on defense today plenty. Let's be smart about it, and let's step this game up. This is not going to be something that's going to take them by surprise.
There's Christian Kropp coming out of the midfield, joined by Lucas Kotler and Brian Tevlin on the first midfield unit for the Bulldogs. At attack, Jackson Morrill, Matt Brandow, and Matt Gaudette. Here is Morrill. Now the midfield, Tevlin dodging, sends it behind. The sophomore Brandow to Gaudette, a little twister, shots wide. Still plenty of time to operate for the Bulldogs.
Yale looks clean out of the gate. Keep the ball moving, a cold day. Stay warm. A lot of talk from UMass right now. They look really excited.
Kotler dodges down the alley, sends behind to Morrill. Coming off such a huge season a year ago, continues to climb up the all-time rankings in terms of points and goals, and that pass a little high, a turnover for Yale.
So that's what you want to do all day if you're UMass. Get in, fly around, the guy who's hot, great communication, move quickly, and make Yale have to earn it by throwing it across the field in those kinds of situations.
Easy clear here for UMass, a team that uses a lot of two-way midfielders. You will see number 14, a guy like Jeff Trainer, and a couple others go both ways on defense and offense for the Minutemen.
And so for people at home who wonder what's a two-way midfielder, a guy who can run back in on D, can stay on, handle the ball on offense, and you can really earn transition that way throughout the game.
Dodging from that far wing is Charlie O'Brien. His pass a little low, and Chris Conley couldn't handle it.
Something you're going to want to watch today is the efficiency of UMass when they do have possession. Can they cash in on it? Shooting percentage, looking for shots that are high percentage, making sure it counts, and now riding.
And this was this has been a bit of an adventure for Yale. The clearing game just right around 65% on the season, and some issues here as it's turned over around midfield. It was a problem against Penn State. One of the reasons why Penn State got an early goal on Mac O'Keefe. Some issues in the clear. Now a transition chance for Trainer, shoots wide. Conley there to back it up and keep in possession.
For those at home watching this game, the #1 statistic that you want to pay attention to, non-face-off ground balls. And talking to Coach this week, that is going to be the key. Can they win the ground ball battle outside of the face-offs? Can they ride and earn extra possessions? And when they get those possessions, can they cash in?
Conley moves it along behind the cage. It's Carter Castillo, the freshman from Franklin, Massachusetts. His pass is off and is picked up by Sean Cutton.
Now that's a luxury if you're Yale. You have a shorty playing defense behind the cage. No one even thought about sliding. That's incredible.
Shows you a little bit about the athleticism as Cutton from range is stopped by Note. Yale there for the backup. They'll keep possession. Early save for the freshman.
I love the feel of a game, beginning of a game. Who's going to get that first goal? You can see everybody on the sidelines really pumped up. That first goal means so much in big games like this.
Here's Logan Solberg wearing that number 2 we were so used to seeing Ben Reeves wear for the Bulldogs. Similar size as well. Sitting there at 6'2", 200. This shot up high, and it's good.
Talk about height.
Thomas Bragg, the 6'4", 200 sophomore from Cazenovia, striking first.
Great ball movement. We talked about it on the first possession. Yale has the ball, keeping it hot, not getting white-knuckled as a number 1 team in the country. Bang, bang, bang. Take what the defense gives you. Step down shot, full confidence, doesn't hesitate at all, steps right into this.
Bragg, another one of these midfielders, a guy who can kind of be versatile. You can throw up an attack, you can put it in the midfield, and Yale just goes so deep. You talk to Coach Andy Shea about the midfield, and he's like, yeah, we could run 3 or 4 lines out there. All guys who probably are in the top 2 line of anybody else in the country.
Yeah, 100%.
Number 45, Thomas Bragg.
Clean defensive exit for TD, and now he's running the break. And now you'll watch TD will set a screen and then sprint off the field. And what happens now, Zach, as a freshman, stuck on defense a little bit. And that's what you got to watch for. TD's athletic and he's fast. He'll come down and create those odd numbers.
Christian Kropp moves along to Kotler at 5 points in the Yale season opening win over Villanova. 4 goals and an assist. Now Morrill. Trying to get to the middle, gets free, shoots high.
Crease attackmen are doing a really good job of mirroring the attackman behind the goal. And what that means is when the attackman from behind the goal starts to dodge, the offensive player in the crease will then rotate around so they can get possession if the ball gets shot wide.
Kotler draws some traffic and draws some a slide. It's over and back. UMass scoops it up quickly, trying to create something in the unsettled. In talking with Greg Cannella of UMass this week, you ask him what's the difference, because they bring back, we mentioned in the open, 89% of their goals from last year, 95% of their assists. They averaged 12 goals a game last year. That's down about 4 goals per game this season. He just said we've been inconsistent.
Yes. And inconsistency usually comes from not really identifying what your identity is as a team on offense right now. Are you going to be pushing the ball? Are you going to slow it up and you're going to try and grind it out? You're going to dodge from X, you can dodge from the top, and you can tell they've been a little inconsistent on figuring that out.
And they strike.
Now, that's not really a page out of the book of what you're going to be doing that day, but what a take. I think that was underhand on the run by Geiger when he got to the middle here.
Jack Geiger with his 2nd career goal, first of the season, the sophomore, going one-on-one.
That was a great dodge because you can tell he cuts straight across the field. His defender kind of jogs, and then all of a sudden he takes 1 step in and cuts that angle in, and he gets his shooting angle. That was a great job. Deceptive dodge by Geiger.
Good time for your first goal of the season. They knot things up here at 1 apiece. Back at the face-off X, it's been a 2-0 advantage so far for TD Ierlan against the freshman in Hockman.
Mass has both guys on the defensive side of the field just in case TD breaks it forward. Zach now had a chance at that GB.
28, Jack Geiger.
Instead, it's Luke Eschbach, the short stick defensive midfielder, who gets the ground ball. And Yale possession as Morrill sends it back out top to Eschbach. Around the top to Cut. Part of the 2nd midfield unit featuring Solberg, Cutton, and Bragg.
And talking to Coach Cannella about what's a weakness that Yale has that maybe you guys can exploit. That was a real awkward, long pause on that phone call. They're just so deep, and they have this luxury, of being Yale. It recruits itself.
You look at what Coach Shea has created in terms of a culture, and you're right. You just keep filtering guys in of this size and athleticism and skill, and it has been a tough train to stop for opposing teams across the country.
Mass is being very active and talking inside. It's really impressive to see early. And there's again, right? Yale now has to throw a skip pass all the way over the top. What a play!
Just barely. Oh. Chris Fake almost made a spectacular play to save that from going over the midfield stripe.
That's great when you have a leader, All-American defender making that kind of extra effort, whether it paid off or not. That says something to the entire roster.
Sets the tone, of course. Here's Billy Philpott, another one of those two-way midfielders. You'll see him on offense and defense for UMass. Swims. That one might have hit the post. The shot clock reset. Should be a reset. Yeah. There it is.
And there should be a shot clock reset anytime the goalie touches the ball or it hits any of the posts. Outside net doesn't count.
Philpott has his step. Now Conley dishes in front. Tic-tac-toe. UMass has its first lead. It's the sophomore Gabriel Prosick.
And when you're an offense and you're going against a seasoned high-end defense, the only thing that can consistently beat it is phenomenal ball movement. Dodge down the alley, start to draw a slide, bang it right away, and then bang it before someone can fill in. And that's exactly what he did. When you get slid for, you start to go to the crease. Where's my guy at? Who am I supposed to pick up? And before you got a chance to identify, and it's all about ball movement and staying active inside. Great offense.
Gabriel Prosick with 5 goals earlier this week in the win over UMass Lowell on Tuesday as Erlin wins the faceoff forward. Fakes it, shoots. Somebody got a piece of it and ends up in Note's stick. That was a great fake by TD.
Yeah, you don't see a lot of faceoff guys have the guts to throw a stick fake inside towards the crease.
And we have a flag as there is a scuffle in the substitution box. We mentioned the similar attitudes. Coach Shea, of course, comes over from UMass and admitted to us this week he took a lot of the culture that he learned from Canella at UMass and brought it to Yale to establish what they do. There's some chippiness on both these teams. They have a blue-collar work ethic.
Yeah, and people have to understand this isn't a tough guy thing. This is a, Coach Shea was saying on the phone, when I recruit a guy and a club coach or a high school coach says, yeah, this kid's tough, he says, well, give me an example. And which was great because I was like, you know what, I've never actually heard that. Give me an example. What does he do that forces that?
Right. So we got a 1-minute penalty on Hockman, the freshman face-off man, unsportsmanlike conduct. So a extra man opportunity for Yale, and they have been really good. 75% on the year. They're 6 of 8 on the extra man. As Bragg steps down, that hits somebody in the middle.
Took it like a champ.
That hurts on a day like today.
Yeah. That the rule, don't rub it. If you get hit, don't rub it.
Bragg operating from the top. Pass a little off for Kotler. Still plenty of time with 35 seconds of the man-up opportunity.
So when you're man down, people at home, you only get to have 4 long poles on the field at a time. And I like to see where UMass puts their shorty.
Morrill ended up in the crease, but we have another flag down. Let's see what the call is.
Full mouth.
And there's a second man down. Headed off for UMass as we have a push. 30-second push. So for around the next 30 seconds or so, 2 men down for the Minutemen. About 24 seconds left on that first penalty. So 24 seconds of being down 2 men.
So you have 24 seconds. It's about a 30-second technical worth of 2 man down. So when you're Yale, yeah, you're going to spin it quick because you want to see if you can get an easy dunk. If not, you just hold on to it because you still have, you still have the ball.
Step, great opportunity, but there is the crease violation, and UMass bailed out.
What a win for UMass's man down.
That was a great look right there for Skylar Wilson, the freshman. And now 2 men down, UMass has got it clear. One of the penalties released, Trainer just running away with it.
So when people ask, like, how can a team like UMass hang in there today? This whole team, like we talked about, a bunch of seniors and juniors who remember pushing this exact team to the brink last year. we can do this. That's what they're saying in that huddle. We can do this. We're at home in front of our own fans. We got to make huge plays like we just did.
We mentioned it at the top. This has been a good series last year. You just mentioned it went to overtime. Yale won at home. 2 years ago, you may remember, as Philpott strikes again. It's a 2-goal lead for UMass here in the first.
That's 2 goals now for UMass, getting to the center of the field on 1 dodge without an assist. And if that continues, this is going to be a big game for UMass today. This is not something you're used to seeing against the Yale defense.
He beats Eschbach there to the middle. UMass is feeling it here early, up 3-1. And I mentioned it 2 years ago, the year Yale won a national championship. UMass in that first round may have given Yale their best game of the entire tournament.
Oh yeah, I mean, who knows a Shea coach team better than Canella, right?
Not many people, as Merlin wins it forward again.
So, Nolan, any guess, just took that second faceoff now for UMass, and we talked about this in the past. If you have a faceoff guy who's hot, and we asked Coach, do you have a change-up faceoff guy, a stand-up guy, an LSM? He said no. So they have 2 or 3 guys on the roster who do the same thing, just a little bit not as good as each other. So how's that going to stop a guy who's on a roll like TD? And we're going to see if they just start changing faceoff guys, it's going to be a buffet time for TD.
Here's Kotler, and just some sloppiness here for Yale early. Another turnover, and UMass picks up the ground ball. That's a risky pass across to Dulac. Still 9 seconds to get over the midfield stripe here for UMass. And they do. Remember the new clearing rules put into effect last year with the shot clock? Got the first 20 seconds of that shot clock to get it over midfield. And we've got a flag down here, so a man-up opportunity coming for UMass and a free offensive set.
Yeah, so this is just like in football, defense jumps off sides, you have a free play. Some teams will say, hey, we have a play for this, and some will just give it to their best offensive player and say, take it to the rack, see if you can draw more.
Here's Charlie O'Brien, the senior midi, dodging hard, his shot just off.
That's what he went for.
The hold goes against Brian Tevlin, junior from Livingston, New Jersey. Let's get another look. Gabriel Prosic. Yeah, there it is.
That will definitely be a flag. Sometimes you lean in for that check, and at the same time, your opponent takes a step away, and you end up completely whiffing on the shoulder.
His UMass team has not been good on the man up, and there a early shot in front is saved by Wilson.
Yeah, it's funny because their offense on 6-on-6 moves the ball so well so far. And then they get a man-up opportunity, and 2 seconds in, they just stuff it into the crease. And that's probably what coaches talked about with the inconsistency.
Came into the game and the man-up 2 of 16. That's at 12%. Not what Coach Greg Canella would like. We're under 4 minutes to go here in the opening quarter, but the Minutemen, the 2-goal lead over number 1 here early on. Jackson Morrill settles things down. And we're all back to even strength after Yale kills off that penalty. At first midfield line of Kotler, Tevlin, and Kroppen for Yale. Morrill's pass a little wide, another turnover for the Bulldogs. It's already 7 turnovers for Yale in this first quarter.
You know, a lot of people say, oh, you know, now they're ranked number 1, so maybe they're getting a little white-knuckled out there. That's not the case right now. UMass is doing a great job. Every time an attackman for Yale's behind the cage, you see him look inside, and it is not there. So then they have to make their second pass.
Unsettled situation. Jeff Traynor steps down and scores again. The senior with his 8th of the year.
That was a rocket. Now, if you're going to let a guy of these dimensions, look at, you're going to let this guy pro hop. I mean, this was a 6-step crow hop right here. Maybe,
1, 2, 3.
Yes. The fence has got to get out there, man. That goalie's your friend. Watch out for your boy.
Look, we talked to Canella about this this week, when do you know if this UMass team is ready to go? He said about 5 or 6 minutes in. It took a little longer. This team's ready to play today. Hockman took a big swing there at Erlin, but another face-off winning ground ball for TD.
That looked like it was Nolan Ennigas again, but I'm not positive.
Either way, TD is a perfect 6 for 6 at the face-off first quarter.
Now here's the thing, though. You know, if you're going to go against a guy who's going to win a majority of the clamps, they're forcing him to exit back towards his goal. You can deal with that. What you can't deal with is that momentum-changing fast break goal.
Thomas Bragg, he has the lone goal so far for Yale. Solberg.
Looks inside. There's no one open again. Great job by UMass. And then he has to take that shot. And that's been the story so far on this defensive end for UMass.
Randall shot, a little wide. Back up here for Morrill with 20 seconds on the shot clock. Cutting back to Gaudet. Nice check and a takeaway for UMass. And here's Charlie O'Brien, another one of those two-way midfielders. This gives you a little bit of an advantage if you're UMass, a chance to keep that guy on, maybe get something as Yale wants to substitute.
Yeah, 100%. And the two-way midfielder thing is huge. They have not given up any transition for Yale. They've done a great job riding, and in fact, they've been able to score on transition.
About a 2-second differential between the shot clock and game clock here at the end of the first quarter. So UMass can't completely hold for one, but essentially can wait for one final shot here in the quarter. This is Philpott working against the long stick midfielder Brian Ward. "25 seconds all the way out by midfield. Now draws a switch onto a short stick. And he gets another one to go.
Just like Coach wrote it up. Let's hold the ball for a minute, get a screen, run in a serpentine pattern, and just stick the goal. Fantastic. I mean, that couldn't have been more well orchestrated. You took the air out of the ball. Yale only has 16 seconds left, even if they win this faceoff, and you scored a goal right before the end of the quarter. This is great stuff from UMass right now.
The captain, Billy Philpott, a senior from Sandwich, Massachusetts, already has a pair here in the first quarter.
So you're going to see UMass set up on this faceoff. Everybody's going to be on the defensive side. Yep. Do not let them go forward. Great job.
Here's Hockman, gets his first faceoff win. Still 9 seconds to go. Conley tries to feed the crease, and Wilson able to snag it out of the air.
Could you imagine what would have happened on that sideline if UMass scored?
Brings us to the end of the first quarter. The top of the country was an assistant coach under head coach Greg Cannella at UMass. And we mentioned in the first quarter, Coach Shea saying a lot of what Coach Cannella does at UMass are things that he took with him when he took the head coaching job at Yale. As Hockman wins a faceoff, gets a shot off. Let's see who gets the backup. And it's Yale. That's a tough one for UMass. You win the faceoff, and it's almost like a turnover there, despite the fact that you got a victory.
Yeah, and I think Hawk is going to be the guy the rest of this game. He's proven that he's really good at defending the exits.
Big hit there by Hockman, getting the ball back.
That's a Greg Cannella guy right there. I mean, that is exactly the type of player you expect from UMass. I love his game.
And so a great hustle play for UMass. They get the possession despite having the shot not backed up, and a chance to add to this lead early in the second quarter. If you're just joining us, Travis Eldridge and Greg Gurenlian with you as part of our CAA Game of the Week. #1 Yale on the road for the first time this season as the #1 team, taking on a UMass squad that is ready to go today. This is the freshman Mike Tobin. dancing for UMass. He's had a nice start to his career. 5 points so far through 4 games. Good ball movement, stopped by Wilson. Aiden Hines for Yale in there for the ground ball, scoops it up. Kind of airmails it to Wilson. Some dangerous passing. All sorts of issues for Yale so far in terms of the clear and some sloppiness and just some simple passing, as this one is sent and intercepted. Another failed clear for Yale.
This is incredible. It feels like UMass has 2 more guys on the field than Yale during the clears. Tobin single-handedly got them the ball back and then almost caused another turnover, and then he turned it over anyway.
Trainer on the run. He goes top shelf. His second of the day.
Sometimes you just need one of your leaders to lead. And Trainer's not afraid of anything right now. He's feeling it. And that's, once again, 1 dodge against a shorty and no help at the end there. I think Yale right now is like, when do we slide? I think they're just a little confused back there.
And this is a guy in Jeff Trainer who put up 50 points back in 2018. Had a great year as a sophomore. Last year as a junior, just 37, only 24 goals. He didn't shoot quite as well, but you can tell now 9 goals on the season today. He's feeling it now as a senior.
You're right.
And we've got a loose ball push there.
That is a tough
UMass
call.
That's one of those where you get that ball after TD wins it, and all you want is a possession. Jump shot and a save by the freshman Note.
Great save. I was going to say, if they score on this, Maddie Palin's going to want to stay on that side of the field the rest of the game.
But UMass some issues in the clearing game. Morrill, extra pass, Gaudet, and he doesn't miss from there. Matt Gaudet answers for the Bulldogs.
And this is called a momentum shifter. When you're Yale, you want to stop the bleeding. A hustle play in transition. Your attackman coming up big. It gives everybody on the sideline like a deep breath.
You got a couple of your upperclassmen leaders making plays for you as well. A couple of seniors in Morrill and Gaudet combining for that one.
And now if Yale can string a couple possessions back.
UMass went a little early there. Hockman's first violation there at the face-off X.
Hey, go, go, go! Hey, switch, Caddy!
Something to make note of for UMass is one of their top defensemen, Sam Eisenstadt, has not seen any action today. We're waiting word to hear what his issue might be, why he's not playing, but number 44 in gray, not on the field so far through a quarter plus. Guy that even with Isaac Paparo as an All-American defenseman last year for UMass was taking that top cover guy for this UMass defense.
Yeah, when you're used to your guy, your stud defender taking over against somebody else when you play a game like this, and not having him out there changes the whole perception of what everyone else is supposed to do on defense.
So far, so good, though. Now 11 turnovers on Yale. And we've got a timeout. We'll step aside as well. UMass has number 1 Yale on the brink here early on. We step aside, send you back into the LSN Broadcast Center. And 12th ranked Ohio State on the road. So they've shown they've got the talent to compete at this level. It's the consistency. Can you get off to a hot start? How does that continue throughout 60 minutes?
Yeah, I mean, when UMass has been in plenty of games like this, it all comes down to the players that are on your sideline. How have they experienced situations like this? None of them on the sideline have experienced beating a number 1 team. However, they've been in plenty of grind out, knockdown, slugfest. So the question is going to be, are you going to watch the score? Are you going to watch the clock from now on? Or are you just going to keep playing our game, do what's gotten us here?
And they're certainly not intimidated by this Yale squad. They've gone toe-to-toe with them for the last couple of years. Nothing Yale's going to do is going to surprise them. His trainer gets free. His shot is deflected, but Prosick able to come up with the ground ball, but it's quickly dropped, and Yale a chance to clear. Weitzel trying to kick it forward, eventually finding a blue jersey, and it's Matt Brandow, the sophomore, to settle things down.
You know, 4 goals used to be a big deal in college lacrosse. With the shot clock now, it's just play the game. 4 goals is nothing.
Second midfield unit back on for Yale. Solberg draws the long pole. UMass pressuring out on these middies.
Every time a Yale player catches the ball, there's a UMass player 1 step away from his gloves. And it has to continue to stay that way.
Mentioned this Yale offense, so potent. They've got so many options. We've seen it so far this season, averaging 15 goals a game entering this one.
Got a shorty on the island right here, and they are not letting him get to the middle of the field.
Morrill, All-American attackman. Now 8 seconds on the shot clock. Pass deflected by UMass, and the Minutemen come up with it.
The trend continues on defense, forcing Yale to spin it, and then have to make a tough pass.
And how about Jeff Trainer here? I don't believe he's left the field. Here, skip passes to Prosick. Trainer's got a couple of goals, and now he's got an assist. Prosick's second of the day.
For those of you who have never gotten a chance to watch Trainer play, this is a stud. Poise right across. That is a Tommy Schreiber type of pass. All the way across the defense. That is what a professional lacrosse player does. And he made it look that easy against the #1 team in the country. Didn't even blink.
And you look at Trainer, 6 foot, 190, big physical guy from Billerica, Massachusetts. Also a tough guy as part of this UMass team.
UMass goal by number 16.
Hockman again making TD work for it. But a second violation on the freshman, so Yale another offensive set.
I don't know what that call was. Hockman did a great job of getting to his feet, and by rule, when you clamp the ball as a faceoff guy, you're allowed to take 1 step to exit. I thought they were calling it on TD, taking a whole bunch of steps.
Something to watch. One more violation here on Hockman and UMass. It'll be a 30-second penalty. Prop. Skip pass out here to Tevlin. Tic-tac-toe. Shot high from Brandow. He took a big hit afterward. No flag.
Yeah, I'll tell you what. A Matty Palin refed crew lets you play. And as long as you don't do anything stupid, they're going to let you play physical lacrosse. And it's good for everybody with these two teams playing, or we would see nothing but flags.
Jackson Morrill again has a short stick matchup here. Skip pass out top. Tevlin on the run, high again, but it looked like Note got a piece of that. That's a fresh 80 seconds here for Yale.
Just so people understand at home, a lacrosse defense is predicated on rotation. That was the 3rd slide that got to the man on the skip pass to stop that.
A timeout here for Yale as they've got a fresh 80 seconds. This UMass team, we mentioned all that they bring back offensively, but on
transition goal has been contested, and you're closing angles down, and that helps a young goalkeeper start to get a lot of confidence. And once a young goalkeeper is confident with talent, it's tough to beat them.
Note with 3 saves so far in the first quarter and a half. Coming out of the timeout, Yale keeps possession. Krop. And just again, another turnover. 13 turnovers for Yale, and that's been the story offensively for them here in the first half. And Greg, that turnover differential makes up for the large impact TD has made at the faceoff ends.
100%. non-face-off ground balls and turnovers, and that's how you make up that impact. And look, nobody seemed to have told UMass what the rankings were before this game. This is the type of team you expect from UMass.
And that's what I think I kind of loved about Coach Cannella when we talked to him this week. He said, we're not that kind of team. We don't go, oh, bulletin board, we get the #1 team at our place. We just operate like it's any other week. Let the guys figure that out.
Yeah. And that's knowing what kind of guys you have in your locker room, right, and creating that culture. Some coaches love the bulletin board stuff, which is great for them, but that's not UMass. UMass is, if you come here, we have to beat you. So come get some, right?
Here's Kevin Tobin working from X, getting the start at attack today. Nice move, and he finishes. Goal is good. His 4th of the season, the junior, making it a 6-goal UMass lead.
I want to get Tobin at the NFL Combine on the cone drill. Watch this. Boom. Oh, these kids, man, they're young. And you don't want to be blowing some dude's ankles out. Like, have a little bit of respect.
Oh, man.
My goodness.
Kevin Tobin stopping on a dime.
I love Tobin's game, man. He rides, he feeds, and he can do that.
His younger brother, Mike Tobin, also part of the starting offense for UMass, coming in this year to join Kevin.
Kevin Tobin, it's his 4th of the season.
TD continues to do what he does at the face-off X, and Yale another chance. And another turnover. And that's the face-off man, Hockman, who's staying on defense, comes up with the ground ball.
Yeah, Hawk got lost for a second, and I love that Yale's attackmen saw TD and have enough respect for him. They actually tried to feed him the ball. It just got nicked.
That's something to think about with the freshman Zach Hockman, face-off man for UMass. Was a great offensive player, a guy who could play just when he was in high school. Was actually Notre Dame West Haven in Connecticut, their career goal leader when he was in high school. So not only did it at the face-off X successfully, also a guy who could score.
Yeah, and that's when you have that dimension. I know Ben Williams used to do that for Syracuse. If there was a false start, he would
How
take it
about
and go to the
another
goal.
one? Billy Philpott is putting on a shooting clinic. He's got a hat trick.
So now it's filtering down, right? So they're sitting there going, yeah, we're losing some face-offs, but Hawk is battling, and he has a lunch pail attitude. We're clearing the ball, we're riding hard, we're winning GBs, we're causing turnovers. Let's just keep shooting, man. And these shots are not being forced. They're coming in the flow of the offense.
And another timeout as UMass has a big lead here, a 7-goal lead on the top-ranked team in the country. I think the question for Yale is you have a backup goalie in Jack Starr, who apparently is now healthy, who has won a national championship and has been in contention for that spot. At what point in this first half, it's just been a great athletic ability for him to get a little sliver of space and finding spots in the middle.
Yeah, I mean, when you're looking at the goalie, like, how do you blame a goalie for giving up these shots? I mean, it's not like these are step back. I mean, these are really quality shots, and a lot of them are coming from the crease. This is just a confident offense right now.
Billy Philpott, again, just finding spaces inside the post. 3 goals for the redshirt senior, Sandwich, Massachusetts. A guy who started his career as primarily a short stick defensive midfielder. Last year transitioned into more of that two-way thing that you see from Jeff Traynor, a guy who offensively can do a lot along with playing the short stick defensive midfield, and now showing you offensively he's got it all working.
See, there's Hawk again, battling hard.
Transition chance, and Yale electing to settle things down with Brandown. No numbers there offensively.
Hockman's so athletic, I'd almost rather just see him be a stand-up neutral grip face-off guy and on the whistle force TD into weird exits. But now Yale's, this is what we talked about, right? You're going to get your wins. So let's just manage it, don't turn it over, and play your offense.
Brian Tevlin. And it's just another turnover for Yale.
So this is going to be the story going into halftime. This is the quote you're going to hear from people. We played awful, but we're still within striking distance. And I know that because that's what we used to tell ourselves if we're down by a few goals at halftime. But if you're UMass, you're sitting here going, they're not playing their game right now. They're second-guessing themselves. So let's keep our foot on the pedal. Don't you dare start looking at that clock.
Now, if you're UMass, you got to keep doing what you've done for the first quarter plus, is finding spots and picking your spots to shoot on the run.
100%.
That has been super successful.
Because if there's any team in the country that can erase 7 goals, it's Yale.
Very quickly. Working for Max here, it's Connolly, number 10 in that gray and maroon jersey. Now Charlie O'Brien from the top of the box. Down to 20 seconds on the shot clock for the Minutemen. Conley looking on the doorstep, nobody home. Kept alive here by UMass. Still 8 seconds to go on the shot clock. Tobin's got to hurry. And Tobin ran out of time.
So people at home, just so you know, there was no over and back call because you're allowed to reach over the line with your stick. You just can't use your body to step over the line.
Flag was down. So that was a free possession for UMass. A slash, 1 minute slash on Yale. Man up opportunity coming for the Minutemen.
So you have a decision now if you're Yale. Are we going to start getting frustrated and trying to create plays ourselves, turn the ball over, and then start hacking? Or are we going to take a deep breath, remember who we are, and try to grind this thing back?
Remember, this Yale team last year against UMass at home, down 8-3 in the third quarter, came back to force overtime and eventually won on a Matt Gaudette goal. So they've been there against this team before, a lot of the same guys. Got to see how they react this time around.
Let's see if this confidence on offense starts to materialize on the man up.
That shot deflected before it got to Wilson, and a ground ball by Yale.
That would be a no. Okay.
Man up, we mentioned it, 12% coming into the game. They've gone 0 for 2 so far. UMass, it's the one thing that they haven't done well so far in this one against the top-ranked team in the country.
Tobin is now on defense as an attackman, and you would never guess.
Tobin, a guy who is listed as a midfielder, got the start at attack today. You get the feeling with Coach Cannella, he's got a bunch of guys he feels like are very versatile that he can use in a lot of different places.
And that's great, especially if you happen to have an injury somewhere. Having guys that don't have definitive pronounced positions is such a luxury.
Here's Thomas Bragg. Now Solberg is, we are back to even strength. Yale able to kill off that man down. Sean Cutton takes a nice shot. 10 seconds of the shot clock for the Bulldogs. On the run, shot deflected, did not get the cage. So 3 seconds to go, and Yale's just going to send it to the corner.
So on that possession, and it's happened a few times, Yale is running this double set where they have two guys inside the crease. And what Mass is doing is they're leaving their man real early, whoever's closest to the ball. And that's why if you're watching this game, it looks like Yale's not getting ahead of steam on their dodges. It's because Mass is sliding so quickly and then filling on the backside, and they're doing a great job via communication.
Note trying to clear here. And Trainer able to find his man in an offensive set for UMass. Give UMass a lot of credit offensively. Yale's a team that can be aggressive. They are big and physical, and UMass has been completely unfazed.
We talked about this during the call this week. Yale does not have an artificial toughness to them. It's recruited, it's fostered.
Philpott, oh, is he feeling it? A 4-pack of goals for Billy here in the first. That's a career high for Billy Philpott, the senior.
I start talking about Yale's toughness, and Billy says, hey, Greg, why don't you shut up and watch this. Roll, and is that the dead center of the field again? Dead center of the field, and you have so much net to shoot at. But what I was saying was Yale is a tough team. They recruit that way. It's the culture, but so is Mass. And a lot of times when you're not that way as a program and Yale comes to town, you start to inflate your chest and start to do uncharacteristic things. UMass is playing their game. This is who they are.
Hockman takes a big shot. That draws a flag. So a free offensive possession coming as UMass gets the face-off win and a man-up coming.
That was a bang-bang play. Hawk picked the ball up off. You had one ref standing over it saying, nope, that was all chest. And Matty Palin throwing his flag 20 yards in the air. So now they're going to hold this because the shot clock,
is off,
means nothing. Yeah, don't even pay attention to that. So there's 47 seconds left in this half. They're going to hold it with the flag down.
Carry this penalty over into the second half with an 8-goal lead.
I'm sure everyone at home, this is going exactly the way you thought it would.
It's exactly what we saw coming too. UMass has taken it to the top-ranked Bulldogs through 30 minutes.
But you'll see things like this when you have a coach who worked at a program and then left and is now the head coach, where guys know each other so well. You'll see games like this.
Tobin gets free. He wants more. Make it a 9-goal lead for UMass.
Charlie O'Brien, get off the track with the trains coming through.
Who needs to wait for a penalty?
That is a play made by a man who is feeling it right now. Watch just the way he barrels in. He wasn't surprised that ball went in the net at all.
Charlie O'Brien's first of the game, second of the season.
Now, if Yale can win this faceoff and hold for possession, I mean, I don't know what they can do in 9 seconds, but if I'm UMass, I'm saying everybody on the wings, get in and sprint right to the hole. Don't take a chance on it.
So that goal did not wipe off the penalty.
Penalty assessed to Yale's number 42.
So a
Brian
man
Ward.
up face-off for UMass here with 9 seconds to go.
So if UMass can get this out, that's huge.
There it is, Hockman
has to hold on to it now.
Got to hold on to it for 3 seconds, and he will.
Now that's huge because now UMass gets the ball to start the half man up.
And just that is a momentum shift in itself.
Yeah.
Hockman winning a face-off against the top guy, one of the top guys in the country. UMass will avoid the face-off to start the second half. What a performance from the Minutemen through 30 minutes. They are back in Amherst, Massachusetts, where we've got an upset brewing. UMass up 11-2 as we get ready to start the third quarter. Currently on top of the #1 team in the country by 9. Taking a look back at some of these first half highlights, Greg, it was all UMass, and they put on a shooting clinic.
Efficiency. We talked about it at the beginning of the game. Are you going to pick up the loose ground balls? Are you going to ride? Are you going to clear? And when you score, when you get on offense, are you going to score? And that's exactly what they've done.
Yeah, Gabriel Prosic scoring a pair there, and then Billy Philpott. Just call him Billy Big Game. 4 goals in the first half for the redshirt senior.
Yeah, getting to the middle of the field on offense all day long so far, that is something Yale's got to address.
And then closing the half with a big goal, huge momentum gaining goal. Charlie O'Brien scores, and then after that, there's a flag down on that play. They go back to the faceoff X. Zach Hockman wins the faceoff, keeps possession, so a man-up opportunity with no faceoff against TD Erlin to start here the third quarter for UMass.
Yeah, when there's a penalty and the quarter ends, whoever holds possession gets to have it at the beginning of the next quarter. That's why that was so big. Else they would have had a face-off, and if TD won, Yale would have been able to kill the clock.
So UMass not successful on the man-up, 0 for 2 in that first half, but still just avoiding a face-off is a win for this Minutemen team. Trainer lost that for a second. 25 seconds left on this man-up for UMass. Devin Spencer moves it along. Tobin feeding, comes all the way out. Great look there for Prosick, but he couldn't handle it.
That is
Proctor looking for him.
I am astonished that he's feeling it like he is, and he didn't just bomb that 10-yard shot. Unselfishness that actually worked against him a little bit.
And we're back to even strength as Yale gets the clear. Let's see what kind of Bulldogs team we have here to start the second half. This was a sloppy Yale team in the first half. 16 turnovers. Very uncharacteristic of the Bulldogs coming off that 12-10 win over #1 last week.
Yeah, I mean, at halftime, you tell this Yale team, if you guys don't get angry, you're going to be upset, right? So you better get angry. You better start playing that way. We got to make up for some lost time here. I love seeing the change-ups that teams make after the half.
Yale's got a man hung up here.
Being hung up used to be a huge deal on a defense, meaning, you know, they could wait all day. Now there's a shot clock, so you're almost playing into the defensive hands if you stay back there too long.
Matt Brandow dives the crease, draws a flag. Ball stayed out. Brandow took a shot.
Now watch this replay. There is not a lot of times that you see a Yale team get crushed on a play, and the other team stands over top of them and says, 1 minute, well worth it.
Yeah, that was a cross check up to the helmet on Jackson Subak, the senior from Toronto, Ontario, out of the Hill Academy.
You guys have to understand, for a lot of these Canadian players, they play box. It's a rougher game. He wasn't being a dirty player. That's just how they play. They're used to cross-checking a little bit more up there in that style of play. So sometimes you go a little high in a bang-bang play.
So a man up here for Yale. Came into the game 75% on the year on the man up. Bragg. Just sloppiness. It was Kotler just took his eye off of it. Another turnover for Yale.
When you're a coach, it's not like you can come in at halftime and scream at your guys and say, you're not trying hard. They are trying hard. You guys aren't doing what we tell you to do. They're doing very well. It's just they're throwing the ball away.
They're just off.
Yeah. Lacrosse is so unique, and it doesn't matter what kind of athlete you are. If you're not catching and throwing, the most elemental part of our game, you can't win.
10 seconds left on this man down for UMass to kill off. That's exactly what Charlie O'Brien will do. O'Brien draws the slide, passes back out top to Tobin. Now Spencer. We're back to even strength here. And a turnover for UMass. Jack Oken, short stick defensive midfielder for Yale, brings it across.
I'm interested to see how many people Yale are going to put in the crease moving forward. If they're going to open it up a little bit more, they're going to stay in their double set.
And you got O'Brien, the short stick on Jackson Morrill. They switched that.
So O'Brien just switched off an attackman, ran all the way to the top, and now he's getting dodged again from the top.
Thomas Bragg now trying to get some. Bounce shot high. That size differential with Bragg, 6'4", 200. O'Brien's 6'1", but he looks short next to Bragg.
Yeah, I was going to say, O'Brien is a tall dude.
Bragg towers over most people in the sport of lacrosse.
That height differential.
And here he cashes in. Thomas Bragg with a pair for Yale, and the Bulldogs on the board first here in the third.
Wow. So I was going to say, that height differential means a lot when the man's on you, because it gives you, he's got long arms, right? So he can kind of lean back and just rip it right through the defender, and he can see over top of him, so he can still keep his eyes on the net.
Thomas Bragg had a big game here to start his sophomore year. 4 goals and a couple of assists for 6 points against Villanova. 3 of those goals coming on the man up in the season opener for Yale. Now he's got a pair, up to 7 goals on the season. TD wins it forward.
Number 45, Thomas Bragg.
And notice Yale, make sure they get the offensive personnel on and not take any chances in transition. They want to get quality opportunities here. TD Ierlan continues to dominate at the faceoff X, but UMass has found ways to make things difficult on him. The Yale turnovers have certainly helped the situation for the Minutemen as well.
Yeah. And for all you faceoff haters out there, TD's 12 for 16 and they're losing 11-3. What do you think the score would be if he wasn't 12 for 16?
Step down shot saved by the freshman Note.
Note has looked great.
Now up to 5 saves.
And calm and cool on the clears.
And that was one of the question marks that Coach Canella had as a turnover here. Quickly the other way. 1 on none, and Gaudette's not going to miss from there. Matt Gaudette, his second of the day, and 2 in a row for Yale. Here they come.
All right, that one's on me.
You jinxed him.
I jinxed him. Forcing this pass into an LSM who's double teamed. It's great to feel a little looser and a little bit more in groove and make some passes that maybe you won't if you were white-knuckled and it was a tighter game, but a couple more of those make this a really tough afternoon.
Matt Gaudette scored 51 goals last year as a junior, a Yale record for a junior for the Bulldogs. He's not going to miss many like that.
No. See, now there's an opportunity right there, right? So TD wins the clamp. He tries to pick the ball up off his knee. If Hawk was actually standing up already, that would be an easy check and a cause turnover. But because he has to stand up too, it makes it easier for TD to exit.
Jackson Morrill tosses back to Eschbach. Now Morrill, just 1 assist so far today for the All-American attackman for Yale. UMass has done a good job, even when Morrill has found a short stick on him, finding ways to get a long pull there quickly.
Yeah, and right here, they were able to make a switch because Yale was subbing up top, so they could make that switch. They had time.
Solberg down the alley, back to Morrill. Now Cutton, part of that second midfield line for Yale. It's saved by Note.
And that's what UMass has continuously done really well, is they keep forcing Yale all the way down. And we talk about all this offensive firepower. Guys start to get a little annoyed, and they start to do uncharacteristic things. And all you're doing is helping UMass's goalie continue to gain confidence.
And here's Billy Philpott. 4 goals in the first half, a career high for him in the first 30 minutes. Full head of steam. Philpott off the pipe, or I think a piece maybe of Wilson.
I think a piece of Wilson just came off.
That was a pace.
Rocket.
Philpott showing the athleticism as well. Excuse me, that is not Brody Wilson. We've got Jack Starr in there in goal for Yale to start this second half.
Well, Jack Starr's he's awake.
As we get a cause turnover here for UMass. Another look at this one, full head of steam, and that one hit his face mask, I think.
Oh, the quality Cascade helmet right there. That thing.
Well, Welcome back to the game, Jack Starr. Of course, the goalie that won a national championship with Yale back in 2018. He was injured to start the year, and he's in here now. Philpott, give and go, extra pass, Starr again. Back-to-back staves for Jack Starr, fresh into the game here in the second half.
Now, you know, you guys are teammates, you're cheering for each other, but if you're Jack Starr and you want to say, man, I want to be the starter again, this is your chance. You come in here and you help lead a comeback by keep making saves like that. We'll see you next week.
As a reminder, we mentioned in the first half, Jack Starr injured before the first game against Villanova, so Brody Wilson got the start, the senior from Downingtown, Pennsylvania. Played so well through the first couple of games, Coach Andy Shea felt even with Starr back healthy that Wilson had earned that opportunity. Obviously, after what happened, giving up 11 goals in the first half, felt like let's try something different. Jack Starr now getting his opportunity again.
Yeah.
Loose ball scooped up here by Morrill, kept alive for Yale. Skip pass out top, step down. 3 in a row for the Bulldogs. This time it's Christian Kropp.
If you thought that this Yale team was going to come out at second half flat and just roll over, you've obviously never watched college lacrosse. There's way too much talent, way too much blue-collar mentality for that to happen.
There's just too much pride on this Yale sideline.
Now you're UMass. Now you're getting punched. So now it's your time to step up. And all you have to do is go to that first quarter blueprint. Can you do what you did in the first half?
Face-off win again for TD.
Jackson Morrill.
I think it's interesting, the guys getting it done for Yale offensively. Matt Brandow, no points. Jackson Morrill, just an assist. Those are the guys you look at as maybe some of the quarterbacks of this offense, but instead it's some of the midfielders, Thomas Bragg, Christian Kropp, some newer faces in terms of being in the national spotlight, making plays for the Bulldogs to get them back in this game.
Yeah, and that's what a championship caliber team has to do. You can't just have 2 guys on a team score all your points. This is a team game.
Bragg again with a good look, couldn't find the net there. Brian Tevlin looking for that skip pass, has it deflected.
And that's exactly what UMass wants you to do. They're going to close off, they're going to pressure the adjacent pass, they're going to make you get a little annoyed so you start throwing it back over the top.
Bragg sends behind. Morrill's pass deflected again. Great active sticks here by UMass. Gaudette trying to win the ground ball. Instead ends up in the stick of Brandow. Loose ball again. 6 seconds left on the shot clock for Yale. They got to go in a hurry. And a skip pass. Nobody home. UMass comes up with it. They'll let him play despite the shot clock violation.
I think 80-second shot clock is the perfect amount of time for college lacrosse. It doesn't feel rushed, but it's like right before it starts to feel like it's been a little too long, it's 80 seconds, and I think they've got it right with the rules committee.
Freshman Mike Tobin. Now Devin Spencer. Senior skip pass out to Tobin. Down on the doorstep to Prosick. It's saved again by Starr. 3 straight saves for Jack Starr.
Jack Starr has been a shot of energy in this second half.
Tobin's pass. Great catch by Trainer. Remember, fresh 80 seconds because that hit Jack Starr, so plenty of time for UMass here. That was a point-blank look for Gabriel Prosick there on the doorstep that Starr was able to get back and stop.
Yeah. And now you're UMass, and those shots were falling all first half, and now you've seen 3 or 4 not go in. Do you change your shot? Do you overthink it?
Prosick just couldn't get his stick completely on it. Ground ball still loose. Won by UMass. Great opportunity, just wide. And the back up to Jack Starr.
Another huge save. And probably a terrible call on the official's part. I think
Tobin
it was pretty obvious who was closer to that. But look, this is going to happen. These are going to happen. A goalie's going to come in. He's going to make saves. Yale's going to score some goals. They're going to win faceoffs. A couple bad calls. Are you going to let that define your half, or are you going to close this thing out?
Another look at a couple of these saves. Here's Prosek right on the doorstep, just kicked away. Then on the loose ball, it was a great look for Mike Tobin. And then Starr able to dive and get the possession, and a save at the other end by Note. But the outlet pass errant and gives it right back to Brandow.
So that's two now. Two careless passes in the second half now by Note. He's done such a good job in the pipes. He's got to turn that around a little bit.
Kotler. Move behind, skip pass back out top. Good ball movement, Gaudette's got a hat trick. And Yale has it clicking here in the third.
So once the goals start coming in, that's when you're going to start hearing the names that you're used to saying, right? So, you know, we were like, oh man, these stars, we're not really saying their names. Well, they only had 3 goals. So now we're going to start seeing some more goals. That's when the studs are going to start to make themselves known again.
Good pass there by Matt Brandow, the standout sophomore, finding Matt Gaudette. Gaudette now up to 9 goals on the season. Hockman able to win a face-off.
Make it count, though, now.
Feeds Prosek, what a finish! Excuse me, he fed Tobin. Hockman to Tobin, and UMass is on the board.
I'm going to tell you what. Hockman is having one of the most impressive, like, 10% face-off games I've ever seen, because he is just a pit bull. Look how casual this is. Yeah, I'll get an assist right here. That'd be cool. Boom.
What a catch and finish from Kevin Tobin for his second goal.
Tobin reminds me of another UMass attackman, Sean Morris. His athleticism, his speed, the way he approaches the game, like.
We mentioned in the first half, Zach Hockman is a guy who offensively in high school was terrific. He wasn't just a face-off guy. Set the Notre Dame West Haven career goals record when he was playing in high school in Connecticut. That is a push against Zach, so a little too much physicality there. Gives the ball to UMass. Gives it to Yale.
So this is my first time in college seeing Hockman play in person. If he can refine himself as a face-off man as far as exits and footwork, he could be a special one, because he has all the other intangibles.
You've gotten a look here at Kyle Zawadzki, number 21 in navy blue, getting the ball now. Has seen his first action of the year, the sophomore for Yale, midfielder. Here he feeds Gaudette. Make it a 4-pack for Matt Gaudette. Yale answers right back.
So now this isn't like a slaughter fest. This is a back-and-forth lacrosse game. So now you're starting to see a little bit of the defensive lacking on UMass, right? This pass never would have happened in the first half. This crease wide open, ball watching, no way. So now now you're getting some of that stuff, and if you're Yale, you got your foot in the door.
You knew the Bulldogs weren't going to go away. Remember, last year when these two teams met, Yale was down 8-3 in the third quarter, came back to force overtime. Matt Gaudette ending up scoring the game winner in OT. Bulldogs escaping with a victory. Hockman, another face-off win. Transition chance here. Tobin couldn't catch this one, but Gabriel Prosek able to keep the possession.
And this is the case that I always make to coaches for letting your starter just kind of figure it out. I'm not saying Hawk is going to turn around and go 80% in the fourth quarter, but you can tell he's got the flow of the game. He's starting to get the cadence down, and he's starting to see the habits of TD. If you just start throwing 2-3 guys out there, no one gets hot.
Hockman's won 2 of the last 3 faceoffs here for UMass. Here's Philpott. Philpott with 4 goals in that first half. Nothing doing in this third quarter. Yale on a 5-1 run here in the third. Philpott beats his man. Left hand shoots wide. Big chase for the backup, and it stays with UMass. A reset. It looked like Jack Starr must have gotten a piece of that. And was not supposed to be a reset. Our officials going to get together. Matt Palem coming over. There's just 25 seconds on the offensive possession for UMass. Makes a lot of difference here late in the third quarter. You can't hold for 1.
And we've seen the effect now from Starr. These tighter shots are going wide because that goal looks a little smaller. You know, you don't have that confidence. You start to feel like I have to ping the corner in order for this thing to have a chance.
Devin Spencer feeds. Tobin on the run.
What a
backhand flip. Falling down. We got a whistle. A loose ball push on Yale, so a shot clock reset. And UMass can hold for 1 now with 32 seconds to go. May have been a tough break because I believe it was Mike Tobin was right there on the doorstep with maybe a chance to score there on the loose ball.
Tobin just made an insane pass to make that happen too. I love watching this UMass offense. They're fun, man, when they're spinning it.
Here's Mike Tobin, the freshman, younger brother of Kevin. Moves it along, Trainer to Conley. Spencer. Tobin was on the backside, and I think he went in the crease. He did. 5 seconds left for Yale. And that will do it on the third quarter. Hey, everybody. Tell your friends if you're watching, get to Lax Sports Network. We got 15 minutes to go. Welcome back to Amherst, Massachusetts. Travis Eldridge and Greg Gorenlian back with you. Getting ready here. The start of the fourth quarter underway. Face-off win for UMass. Gives you a whistle there. Give it to Yale.
What is the call on that?
Did not see it. CAA Game of the Week, #1 Yale on the road, playing their first game as the top-ranked team in the country this year. Down by 5 here on Lax Sports Network and on 11 Sports. That one stings the corner. It's Matt Brandow, his first of the game.
Man, that is a huge turn of events. It looked like a completely clean face-off play. Everyone was a little confused, so they give the ball to Yale, and then they score right away. That is a game-changing situation.
Give the assist to Brian Tevlin. Tevlin picking up his second of assists of the afternoon. And so we're back to a 4-goal game, as close as Yale has been in quite a while. TD wins the face-off, pass deflected. Erlin just tried to move it forward. And a ground ball by UMass.
So now Yale's down 4, and you can see the energy in their ride stepping up, right? Man, I mean, he was hawking the defender on that throw. Those are the little plays that make a huge difference.
If you're just joining us on Lax Sports Network on 11 Sports, first half it was all UMass, an 11-2 lead at the break. Third quarter, Yale striking back in a big way, a 5-1 third quarter. And the Bulldogs are right back in this thing.
This next 14 minutes is going to be awesome.
It's Jackson Morrill. He's got the short stick on him. Morrill feeds back out to Crop. What a catch. Morrow looking to back down his man. Tough angle, and he's finally got one. His first of the day, and Yale is within 3.
What a great take, and it happened right in the flow of the offense. So now, as Yale coming into this quarter, you're sitting here going, this is a totally manageable situation for us. So we don't have to worry about scoring fast. Just stay the offense, run it, take your time, and get the best shot.
Let's go, boys!
And now we're going to really see what kind of team UMass is. Because now the #1 team in the country showed up.
A 7-1 run here for Yale.
Let's go, Hawk!
One of the big momentum shifters was the entrance of Jack Starr in goal for Yale to start the third quarter. It was Brody Wilson that started the game, but Jack Starr, the starter from the last 2 years that helped this team get to back-to-back national championships, came in here in the third quarter and has made a couple of really big saves to keep UMass at bay.
And that's exactly what TD needs to do. Win the clamp, turn calmly, get that open defensive exit. There's nobody on that side of the field. And just let this Yale machine continue to run here.
Logan Solberg, freshman from Los Angeles.
Work out, Mike! Go, boys!
Now Sean Cutton, another member of that second midfield unit for Yale. Thomas Bragg already with a pair of goals today. Gaudet couldn't catch that one. And a ground ball here for UMass. Let's see if Jackson Subak wants to go in transition. Answer is no. Ryan Fitzpatrick, the LSM, gets it to Jeff Traynor. And he quickly draws the pull. Traynor a couple of goals and an assist so far.
This is a big possession for UMass now. They don't necessarily have the score, but let's get a good one that feels good when you come off the field. Okay, we got a good shot. It was a great save. But if a turnover or something like that would be kind of detrimental right now with the run that Yale's been on.
Philpott looking for more, hit the pipe. He could not miss in the first half, had 4 goals, which is a career high. The backup and a fresh 80 seconds here for UMass.
And if this is your first time watching lacrosse, yes, that constituted as a good shot. I would say an 80 mile per hour bullet on the run, hitting the post. But then it's followed up by a turnover.
Geiger trying to go through traffic, and Jack Starr looking to clear. Clears have been an adventure at times for Yale, especially in the first half. Kotler still got 5 seconds to get it over midfield. Good hustle play just in the nick of time. It's Oken.
So they have until that clock hits 60 to get over the midline, and couldn't have possibly been closer. But when you ride that hard, now they have a much shortened shot clock to play offense on.
And we've got a man down. I believe it's Brandow, Matt Brandow.
Tiger! Here we go, Jake!
Oh, no.
See if we can pick up what happened here on this replay. And
that looks like a
shot to the
midsection.
Yeah, the spot where it does not feel real good.
Jackson! Dulek!
Matt Brandow, sophomore out of Maryland. Had such a great rookie season for the Bulldogs. 50 goals, 74 points. Had 7 goals against Penn State in that semifinal win last year.
Go to the sideline and do some rehab.
Brandow couldn't see him up and at him.
Let's go, D! Let's go, D! Dig in here! I need you, 5! I need you, 5!
So still 44 seconds left to operate for Yale as Brandow comes off. Is Will Cabrera. junior midfielder. Looking for space, shoots wide, but Morrill there for the backup.
That was an adventurous take. Diving face first, about 12 yards from the goal.
Morrill, little two-man game with Kotler. Tries to move it along. Ball is still loose, and Morrill right place, right time. Still time for Yale to operate. Tough feed and a ground ball here for O'Brien. Swimming through some defenders. How about Charlie O'Brien?
Charlie O'Brien putting people on ice skates, and then a twister pass in the middle of the field.
Look out for Billy Philpott.
Now you're UMass. You want possession. You don't want to make it feel like you're killing it, but you want to use the clock, run your offense.
Jeff Trainer, such a dangerous dodger and shooter when he's feeling it, and he has been feeling it at times today. Pass back across. Tobin spins out of trouble. Again, extra pass. Oh, Trainer had it dialed up if he could hold on.
That was one of the coolest 5-yard passes I've ever seen.
I need you, Subak. I need you, Subak.
Keep cycling. You got 20 seconds still on the clock.
Still plenty of time here for Chris Conley operating for Max.
I don't know. I don't know where they...
Conley trying to beat his guy there. Dive is off the side of the cage, I believe. Fresh 80 seconds, and UMass with the backup.
Wow.
Hit the post.
That's the best case scenario for UMass right there, because he dove. He had zero angle. Yale's defense is clamping down. They're looking good. They're looking like the normal Yale defense right now, playing with some confidence.
Haven't mentioned Chris Conley a lot. Typically the quarterback of this UMass offense, but it's been the midfield that has been the real dynamic part of this offense today. Here's Philpott stepping down again, shoots wide, and still a backup for UMass.
Go down. Go three.
So just so people know, just a few years ago, if a team that was trying to take down a #1 was up by 3, we would see like an 8-minute possession, and it would be the worst thing ever to watch.
You could, yeah.
And now you're seeing real lacrosse all the way to the end.
Trainer. Step down shot there, just high.
We just saw 2
Tobin.
Yale defenders jump in front of that, trying to get hit by the ball. Yeah, they're awake.
They want this one.
Yes.
Ticking toward 8 minutes to go. UMass still up by 3 on the #1 team in the country as Jeff Trainer dodges. 17 seconds on the shot clock. Pass across to Prosick, looking in traffic. Just trying to bat it in. Wow, a loose ball push on Yale. Another fresh 80 seconds for UMass.
Yeah, so any penalty refreshes the shot clock back to 80. And that was a desperation throw inside. Usually you tell your offense, okay, with 2 seconds left in the clock, just throw it in the corner. We'll get back on defense. Instead, they threw it inside, and it actually ended up helping them.
Fans here in UMass getting excited. They can start to feel this.
It's palpable. You can feel how important this possession is. A goal for UMass would be a backbreaker, but for Yale, if a stop, you'll see that whole sideline erupt.
Long, extended possession. This is almost 3 shot clocks worth of defense Yale has had to play on this possession alone. Trainer, pass out top, step down, score! It's Mike Tobin, the freshman, with a huge one for the Minutemen.
If you could write a textbook possession right now in this game for UMass, extend the clock twice, and then after you've peeled a couple minutes off, get a step down shot on a hot goalie and stick it. Draws the slide, throws it all the way over the top. Now there's a backside screen by #5. He's actually screening the man who was supposed to come out for that. Great design on that offensive set.
And the feed there from Jeff Trainer, the senior, He has put together a really impressive game. His second of assists to go along with a couple of goals, 4 points for Jeff Traynor. Now up to 13 points on the season. Remember, down 4 with Yale's face-off advantage. Game's not over as TD Ierlan wins another face-off. Continues to dominate there at the X.
And that's what's kind of interesting. We talked about Hawk, if he can become a more refined face-off guy, he's winning clamps against probably the best all-around clamper the game has ever seen. And he just doesn't really know where to throw it. And because UMass is so used to TD winning clamps, they're coming in hard. So when Hawk does win the clamp, he doesn't have anywhere to go. His own wings are in the way.
Look out for Thomas Bragg. Floats one behind to Brandow. He's back in after taking an injury break. Brandow looking for an answer. Left hand shoots wide. Ierlan now 19 of 25 at the faceoff X.
Be ready in the red! Be in the pipeline! Ready in the red! Pipeline 15!
Thomas Bragg already with 2 goals, the big midfielder out of Cazenovia, New York. Another good look there on the left hand.
It's a lot harder for a taller guy to have good change of direction, but what he does really well is after his roll, he has a massive first step that creates separation for that shot.
Morrill passes back to Cutton. Brandow to Gaudet, tic-tac-toe. Yale with the answer. And a 5-pack of goals for Matt Gaudet.
And here's what's crazy is UMass played great defense right there. It was just better offense. Look, the slide comes, force him underneath. He gets the ball, second slide's coming. And the third, I mean, the original guy who was beat, okay, so watch 5, he's beat, the slide comes. It's almost impossible for him to get there in time. But it was all done so well by Yale. If you can make the guy who was slid for have to be the second slide, you're running an efficient offense on attack.
They're back to a 3-goal game. Ierlan's 20th face-off win of the day.
So TD's doing a great job. Even when he wins that clamp and his opponent steps up right away, he's turning far enough.
Eschbach stopped by note. Crease violation on Eschbach. Luke Eschbach, the short stick defensive midfielder, a face-off wing, trying to get some early offense. Ends up in a turnover here for Yale. That's a high pass. Tobin couldn't grab it. Brandow trying to hold on to it. He's hounded.
Coach Shea has plenty of confidence in his stick handling ability. He's being pressured against the sideline, doesn't even think about calling timeout, just lets him do his thing. That's the kind of respect that's earned over time.
That shot stopped by note. Great hustle there on the sideline as Yale will keep possession. That's Kyle Zawatsky who won the race to the sideline for the backup, and UMass wants a timeout. How about the freshman Matt Note coming up with a couple of saves here in the last couple of minutes to help turn away some good looks for Yale.
Yeah, don't let the scoring by UMass overshadow how good of a game this young man's been playing.
Up to 9 saves here on the afternoon. The freshman from New York, Eastport South Manor High School, playing the biggest game of his young career, and so far, so good. The second half, jumping back to make it a 3-goal game. Yale has not been within 2 since about the 5.5-minute mark of the first quarter.
You and I were sitting over here at halftime talking, and we both were like, there's no way this is not the second half just like the first half. And it's been very entertaining.
Top-ranked Bulldogs looking to complete a gigantic comeback. They've trailed by as many as 9. Out of the timeout, Morrill sends it back out top. Zawadzki. Now Kotler. Good pressure there from Trainer. Morrill, step. Nope, got a piece.
They didn't change the clock. I don't think it. Oh, it did. Okay.
And let's see, Matt Palem's shaking his head. I'm not sure. So they're going to say that that did not get a piece of note, I believe. So the shot clock reset. However, they're going to make sure they get this right because of what the time means. So I guess if this is the case, it did get a piece of note. You get a shot clock reset. You just want to take more time off of it.
Yeah, so I think what they're saying is the shot clock should have been reset. I don't
Did
know.
not reset,
Yeah.
so they just wanted to take more time off this shot clock. It must have paused at some point.
Okay, so the shot clock, shouldn't have been reset, but because it was, they have to take more time off of it.
Tevlin feeds and a turnover.
People at home, we figured it out. Now it's UMass ball.
Now keep an eye on this clear. Yale has done a terrific job in the ride here in the second half, making UMass really think about this.
They're going to go with a hero ride.
Jeff Trainer has been the guy for UMass. He's barely left the field at times throughout this game.
And he looks fresh, too. Shout out to UMass Strength and Conditioning Department. These guys have plenty of energy now with 3 minutes left.
He's a senior playing against #1 team in the country in his building.
Yeah, I think if you're not up for that, then you got to check your pulse.
Billy Philpott trying to add to his 4-goal total.
This will be a full-on use the clock.
Philpott stopped by Starr. Rebound. Still stays out, and Starr able to collect.
Yeah, that's a head scratcher. You got 30 seconds left on the clock. But, you know, I'm not in the huddle, so coach could very well just be saying, look, if you get your shot, take it. You know, who's gonna give you crap about that?
Philpott was feeling it in the first half. Solberg thought about it. It's off the freshman, sends it behind now to Morrill, the senior.
But now Yale's got to be in a little bit of a speed version of their offense because they have to score and give themselves time to get some more.
Solberg, little hitch. Feed in front, stopped by Note. Oh, the freshman stealing one. Man. What a stop, but trouble in the clear for UMass. And so Note and his defense back on alert.
That Note coming out party right now.
Matt Brandow. Under 2 minutes to go for #1. Brandow stopped again. The freshman with 2 gigantic saves.
Matt Note, welcome to the party. You're going to have Doc Schneider, one of the best to do it, on that sideline, beaming with pride right now. Can UMass finish this?
Matt Note, the first freshman to start a season opener for UMass since the great Doc Schneider, now a assistant coach here for the Minutemen, and Note is making his own statement here today. Big hit.
Wow.
And a whistle there, loose ball call, stays with UMass. It's a fresh 80 seconds. They can hold this for the rest of the game if they can play keep away. Jack Starr way out of the crease. Some dangerous.
That's the guy you want to have it.
Floats. Tobin.
Tobin and his 3.240.
Looking for one more. It's Starr who makes the stop out of the crease, and here he comes. 46 seconds away from the upset for UMass. Starr across midfield. Solberg has it taken away. What's the call?
No one knows. So Yale went off sides. When Starr came across, no one stayed back. And now UMass can finish this game. Incredible.
An 11-2 lead at the half as UMass calls a timeout. An 11-2 lead at the half has dwindled away, but UMass just enough here in the final 30 minutes, and they're holding on to a 3-goal lead with under 30 seconds to go. And Craig, how about the play of Matt Note, the freshman?
See ball, stop ball. We talked about it early. You have a young guy that gets hot early, gets some confidence. And this isn't like the first half. They're getting good shots. And he's just stepping up and he's saying, you know what? I want this on my resume. It's my time.
And look at the excitement from Matt Note. 5 times beaten a top 15 team in the country. This would be his first ever victory over a #1 squad.
Which is shocking because he is universally respected as one of the greatest college lacrosse coaches in the history of this sport. Good for him. Wow. I guess it takes the mentor to take down someone like...
He's beaten #2, he's beaten #3, he's beaten #4. It's just elusive to beat that #1 team in the country, and Jeff Trainer trying to finish it off. He thought about it, now he shoots wide. Yeah. Trainer's looking for the hat trick.
Coach is just sitting there going, can we get out of here, guys?
How about Billy Philpott to run this one out? 4 goals for the redshirt senior. He sends it to the corner. Out of bounds with 3 seconds to go, and that's going to do it for this one. Hang a lantern up in the Old North Church. Tell your friends, UMass has knocked off the #1 team in the country. 13-10 your final, the Minutemen.